This is Moshe Frank with COLLive.com. We're here tonight with a special guest, a very timely guest, Chesky Landa, CPA and accountant here in Crown Heights. And as you may know, there's a big stimulus package that was passed. And we're going to dive in with Chesky to help us understand it better and to see how we can qualify. If we are qualified or we're not qualified, could we were qualified, we should have been qualified. So here, hello Chesky.
So based on the CARE Act that was just passed and signed by the president, most taxpayers or most individual U.S. citizens will be eligible to get a payment of $1,200. And in addition, they will also get $500 per child.
So that's a one-time payment, right?
For right now, it's a one-time payment. It's possible that if conditions don't improve, that they would, continue this or have it go on in some future month. But for right now, it's a one-time payment that will be based on your income, and you'll get the payment the same way you get your refund. If you get a tax refund, or if they have your bank information for direct debit. So if you normally get a check in the mail, this will come in the mail. If you normally get your refund by direct deposit, you'll get it through direct deposit.
How much money is the max you can make to get part of the stimulus package?
So if for a married couple filing jointly, after you can earn up to $150,000. After that, it starts to diminish. At $199,000, you will not get the payment at all. If you have children, you'll be able to earn a little more and still get the $1,200 in addition to the $500 per child. And they're going to base this off your 2019 tax return if it's available. Otherwise, it's going to go off your 2018 tax return.
And if you didn't file for 18 or 19, you don't get anything, right?
Unless they have some information for you, or if you're getting Social Security, they might still send it. But if you didn't file 18 or 19, you probably wouldn't get anything for now.
Gotcha. Now, what about if you're eligible 18, not 19, 19, 20, or over?
So what's important to understand about this credit is that it's really a credit for the 2020 tax return, and they're giving you an advance on a credit. So if you asked, it was really a good question. If somebody filed his 2018 return, didn't yet file 2019, but he had a child since, so he's going to lose out that $500, but he will be able to recoup that when he files his 2020 tax return. Same thing would be if somebody's income is not eligible, he's not income eligible in 2019, he may be able to get it in 2020 if he's income eligible. And it seems that it might be, the inverse might work as well, which would be to a taxpayer's detriment, is that if he did qualify based on the 2019, but then had more income in 2020, he may have to repay the stimulus payment.
That means to say that if I was supposed to get a refund in 2020, it's coming off this money that I'm getting now is coming out of that.
Well, they added a refund to the 2020 tax return, right? They gave you an extra $1,200 per individual, and they're giving it to you now. And if you don't get it now because of whatever for whatever reason, let's say you didn't have the right banking information, you moved and you never got the check, or they didn't know how many children you have, or whatever reason, then you'd be able to make the claim for it on your 2020 tax return and get the money then.
So it's not, is it instead of your 2020 refund or in addition?
No, it's in addition. This is an additional tax credit that was added to the 2020.
Is there anything else a regular employee should know besides that? So I want to move on to employers' options as well.
For an employee, well, as far as the stimulus package is concerned, I guess another question a lot of people are asking is, do you have to live in the U.S.? And the answer is no. If you usually file taxes, even if you live abroad, you will still get this payment. The other thing that employees might want to be concerned about is, a lot of employees are hurting and they were laid off, or they're in quarantine and not able to work. And obviously what they need to do is apply for unemployment.
And what's regular unemployment pay, And what is it now with the new stimulus care package?
Well, normally you just get a percentage of what you're working, and it's capped at a certain limit. And now they're adding $600 per week, and they've also extended the unemployment to 39 weeks. And so they add an additional 13 weeks. And then various states have other perks that they're throwing in. So I would suggest anyone who needs to go on unemployment to look at their state's website and see what they're able to get.
Great. Now, what are the help and packages available for business owners who are self-employed or have payroll?
That's a very good question. So I'll tell you what, it's quite a bit ambiguous. There's a lot of information out there, and it's not yet very clear. I would recommend most people wait a little bit and then look at some of the SBA products that were part of this CARE Act and see what to apply for. But I'll just give a quick rundown. So you have the basic emergency, which is for most areas that were declared a disaster, which many areas were, can apply for the disaster funds from the Small Business Administration, or SBA, and they're offering loans for small businesses at 3.75%. You have 20 years to pay it back. You'd have some paperwork to fill out and show what your loss is going to be. As far as payroll is concerned, there's also an option from the SBA where you can get a loan to cover your payroll and cover your rent. And I believe the first 8 weeks would actually be a loan that you will be forgiven based on that amount. And the other thing I would mention is that emergency loan what was passed in the bill is that there's also a $10,000 grant that will be remitted within 3 days, which is not yet up and running now, but it should be soon on their website for SBA loans. Anyone who applies for the emergency loan will also get a $10,000 grant. I'm sure there's different variations of how it's calculated, but that's the basic gist of it. There's also a grant from New York City for loans and also to cover payroll, 40% of your payroll, depending on how many employees you have. So there's a lot out there, hard to go through everything. But I would say any business owner should look out what's out there, look at the SBA loan products and New York City.
What would you say, last question here, and thank you again for your time. What is the biggest concern you're getting calls from clients? Anything specific or any surprising concerns?
I think a lot of clients have questions of if they'll be eligible for unemployment, if they're self-employed, which the answer for that is yes. And what's if they're the owner of the business and the employee of the business? Many people have questions about the stimulus payment that we just spoke about. And I think a lot of businesses are not sure about how to go about applying for the SBA loan and figuring out which loan they qualify. And I would just say is read their website. I know it's running slow, but read through it and look at compare to your situation and see what type of loan fits your needs best.
Do you have a suggestion how to go about getting an SBA loan? I know you get it through a bank. There's some expediting companies. I'm assuming you go direct. Do you have a suggestion?
At this point, I would just say wait a week or two. I don't even know a week or two, but even 1 week, and they're going to revamp their website, and it's going to become very clear from their website about what you should do.
Great. Thank you very, very much, Chesky Landa, for your time and expertise and clarity on the matter, because I'm sure many of our viewers are lost and confused. So thank you again. Chesky Landa, CPA, with Moshe Frank from COLlive.com.
Take care.